Hi, I'm Tom Compton. I'm the owner and managing director of English Woodlands Timber, and today we're going to be talking about ash grade. So when we talk about grade in relation to ash, we're really talking about colour. Colour is the determining feature, other than crown or straight and centre boards, that people refer to. So commonly people will talk about prime white ash as their as the top grade, and coloured ash as a second grade. However, English ash, we like to think of colour as a feature grade rather than a second or inferior grade, because we feel it has nice tones, it works with the tree, you have less waste, and has a nice feel around it. So when we talk about white, this crown board shows the whiteness of the grain. It has a small touch of colour here, and then white again to the outside of the tree. On this board, again, we have white, but also we have some natural colour in the bark. The colour comes through the minerals that the tree draws up as it grows, and that's determined by the soil that it's then growing on. You tend to find more colour in the centre of the tree, and so in the centre boards, and more white in the crown outside boards. Colour also ranges from light browns, dark browns, through to olive, often highly desired coloration, with streaks of green. It's a very beautiful, beautiful feature. Trees have branches, they grow, that's the only way they can grow, and so we also have knots within the timber. Within ash, we don't really offer timber with knots in, because the use of the timber requires its grain and straightness of grain, which we like. This could almost be conceived of as a second grade ash right in the centre of the tree. When you're thinking about ash for your project, we're really interested to know what's the grain pattern you're really interested in, because that helps us select the boards for your project. So if you want and like the grain pattern in the wood, ask for crown boards. If your application is where you want dimensional stability, then suggest asking for centre boards. So one of the very special grades we occasionally, quite rarely, find in ash is ripple. Ripple is a shimmery movement of the grain, which produces a very special characteristic. If one can imagine, in a normal tree, the grain, the annual rings are growing one on top of the other in a nice straight up and down sideways movement. In some trees, and we don't really know why, the grain moves in and out as it grows, and that produces a absolutely fantastic figure, which this board is a nice example of. So if we look closely, very closely at the grain, each annual ring there in the other boards was going straight up and down, but you can see in these boards is moving in a very irregular fashion. Behind the annual ring are the radial rays that come into the centre of the tree, and you can just hopefully just make out these little flecks of white between the annual rings. When this board is sanded and highly polished and oiled, that grain will really stand out and produce a beautiful looking piece of wood.